fellow Americans, I'm not running for president. I'm just playing with you. Live from the Shanty Road University studios at Shanty Road University, we come to you again with life lessons with the legend, Bobby Lee Jordan. I want to talk to you tonight about an expression that I've used quite a few times. Somebody called this to my attention just today, and I thought, well, you know what? I need to talk about that. Many times somebody tells me something, I say, well, how about that? How about that? How about that? And what that means is, well, I'm going to tell you later, wait and tell you what it means after I tell you how I came up on that. It was back about 1978. I was working at the fiber industries up in Salisbury, North Carolina. Had a really good job. I hated the rotating shift, but the work, the job, the place to work, fiber industries was a good place to work. I was like a spare hand. I was one too many people we had on that crew. And so I would, a lot of days I would go to the foreman's or supervisor's office, hang out there and wait until we saw where I was needed, and then he would tell me what to do. So I was hanging out with Benny one day there, and this lady came busting in. I use that word very loosely, lady. This old woman came in there, busting up in the office, and she told Benny, I'm going to whoop Mary's ass when we get off of work in the morning out there in that parking lot. And I stood back and watched. I thought to myself, I was 25 years old. I thought, you know, one day I might be a supervisor. I need to know how to handle a situation like this. How is Benny going to diffuse this situation? So I watched him. He was so cool. He filled up his pipe with tobacco. Back then you could smoke about anywhere. He lit that tobacco pipe, puffed on it a couple times, and sat back in his chair, and I'm thinking, okay, now I'm going to learn something. This is going to be so good. And Benny says, how about that? And the old gal turned around and stormed out of there, and that was the end of it. And then nobody got beat up in the parking lot the next morning, or that evening, whichever it was. I thought about that a lot. I was a little bit disappointed. I thought, that's it? That's how you handle a situation like this? And as I thought about it more and more over the years, it dawned on me, he really did diffuse that bad situation. How about that means, I really don't care. It means nothing to me. Do what you want to do. And over the years, I've had many situations where it may be a family member, it may be a friend or a co-worker that would come and tell me something that I really thought was pretty dumb. They did something that I thought was dumb. And so instead of having an argument, because it wasn't going to change things anyway, you say, well, how about that? And you go on with your life. It's not that, most things are not important enough to get upset with your family, especially your children. If something is already done, it's done. So that's been one of my catchphrases that I use for 45 years now. How about that? You tell me you're going to jump off the bridge? How about that? You're going to tell me you're going to do something stupid? How about that? Knock yourself out. We're not going to argue about it. And a reason people tell you some stuff sometimes is they want an adversary. But I just choose not to be an adversary. So, how about that? I don't know what you think about that, but it's worked for me, and it's saved me a whole lot of grief and a whole lot of arguments over the last 45 years. And I'll probably continue to use that. How about that? Any questions? No questions? Good. Until I see you again, y'all know what to do. Act like you got some sense.